Good morning or afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar is for the chapter webmasters out there, or the people that are interested in becoming chapter webmasters. One thing that you may or may not know is that every single chapter that's part of BNI Connect does have their very own chapter website. This chapter website can be updated to have your own information on it. You can put your own graphics on it, use it as a means to promote your chapter, and all stay within branding compliance, as well as still have all of the current information automatically included on the website, such as the chapter roster and the speaker rotation and the amount of thank you for closed business that you've done. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about these chapter websites. I'll show you a couple of examples as well of what these chapter websites look like. Then we're going to go into the back end of the system and show you how to edit them. Basically, if you have ever created, let's say, a Word document in the past, you should be able to do most things surrounding updating a chapter website. It is that easy. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started. The first of which is that this is a live webinar, so if you have any questions whatsoever as we're going through the material today, please do feel free to ask those questions. Now, everybody is muted by default, but if you do need to ask questions, the best thing to do is to type your question in to the question window. I will see that pop up on my screen, and I'll be able to answer that as we're going through the material, or if it's something completely and totally unrelated, we can definitely discuss that at the end of the webinar. We're scheduled for approximately 30 minutes worth of content, so to speak. I do try to be very respectful of everybody's busy schedules, so we'll try to end this as close to the bottom of the hour as possible. That being said, this is what I do all day, every day. So if you do want to hang out and ask more questions, I will always stay until every single question is answered. So don't be shy. Please do feel free to ask questions. We are recording this webinar as well. There's a number of places that you can find the recording when we are all done today. The first place is on the support site. So if you're logged into BNI Connect, click on this question mark in the upper right-hand corner. Alternatively, just go to support.bniconnect.com. Support.bniconnect.com. This is the support site. You can search for things, and you can also see our upcoming webinars. And if you scroll down, you'll see chapter training and documentation, and you will see our recorded webinars. This webinar is part of the May series, and it will be uploaded very shortly, usually within a couple of days. But you can watch the webinars right through here, or of course, go directly to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. And up here, you will find our entire collection. We have hundreds of videos up here, including not just the webinars, but also things like educational moments. So the educational moments are short 3 to 5 minute videos that you can use in your chapters. All right, so let's go back to BNI Connect here, and let's take a look. These chapter websites, what are they all about? So where do you find them? The first thing is they are part of the regional websites. So it's a sub-site of whatever your region's website is. Now, for example, I have a test region. They are up in Antarctica. So if I go to antarcticreferrals.com, this is our BNI Antarctica website. So it's actually a live testing site that we use. And if let's say I'm browsing this regional website, I go to find a chapter. I can take a look at all the chapters up here. We have our frozen assets chapter and our cold hard cash, our chili hillbillies. I'm going to check out this BNI Burr chapter. And here I can see all the members of this chapter. And if I'd like to, I can go and view the chapter website. And this is a default out-of-the-box chapter website. So really nothing at all has ever been done to this chapter website. This is how all of your websites will look when you start out with them. You'll see it as the home page here, and there's some default text and a default image. It also pulls the amount of thank you for closed business in the past 12 months from your POMS report. It'll have your meeting day and your meeting location, how many members you have, We only have a vice president up in the Burr chapter, but if you had a president and a secretary treasurer, they would also be listed here. And then also your chapter speakers for the next month will be listed as well. There's also a chapter members page where you can view the list of members. You can click on a particular person. And for example, I could be brought to Alfred E. Newman's profile here. And this is also updated and pulled directly from BNI Connect. So if Alfred goes in and he updates his profile in BNI Connect, it will automatically update in all of the places that the member's bio shows. There's also a news feed and the ability to visit this chapter as well through a chapter registration page. So all of this is part of the BNI Connect based chapter websites. Now again, this is a very basic site. Nothing at all has been done to this one. Let's take a look at a couple of sites where some changes have been made. So one of the sites out there that I'm really impressed with is a site called BNI Rugby. So the BNI Rugby chapter in the UK. Now I just did a Google search for it. You'll notice that this is the very first result. We have the BNI warwickshire.co.uk/rugby. And this is their chapter website. You'll notice that they've made a number of changes. They put these social media links over here on the left-hand panel. They also put them in the upper right-hand corner. They've completely modified the look and feel of this. Now you notice it does have all the same information on the left. This is part of the branding of it. It has the same tabs and the same left-hand side, but then the middle is personalized. They put in a whole bunch of links and verbiage and new pictures of their chapter. They have a number of videos, a registration page, some testimonials. The page really has quite a bit of information in it. And it also has a map for where to find their chapter. They still, as with just about any other page, they have the chapter members as well, where you can see all of the members listed. There's also the possibility for a chapter gallery. And of course, their news feed as well. Let me just show you one more that's out there that I really like. And this is the Golden Ideas chapter of BNI. And this one is in San Francisco. And here we have the Golden Ideas chapter. You can see that they've modified their homepage. They went with a two-column approach to their website, but they still have the map. They have a message from their chapter president. They have their chapter speakers listed down below as well. What I really think is neat about what they've done is they've done some advanced coding on this. So it's not something that you can do out of the box. You do have to have a little bit more advanced knowledge, but what they've done is they've taken their roster and given you the ability to view it in Power Teams. Now, again, I'm not a programmer, so I'm not sure exactly how they did this, but it is just pretty cool the way that they've done this. So they have an employment contact sphere, and you can view their marketing contact sphere. So all things that you can do with these out-of-the-box chapter websites and a little bit of programming knowledge. So let's take a look. How do you go and edit this? For that, we are going to have to log into BNI Connect. So from your regional website, you can always click the BNI Connect or Members Only button in the upper right-hand corner, or just go to bniconnect.com and log in. So once you're logged in, this is the home page. Now, the editing tools are what's called a CMS Editor. CMS stands for Content Management System. So we're going to manage the content on these sites. And to do this, this is going to be one of the special functions that's located under the Tools menu. So if you click on Tools, CMS, and Chapter Websites. Now, depending on your level of access, you probably won't see things like country websites, or unless you're a regional administrator, you probably won't see region websites. You may only see chapter websites. And if for some reason you don't see the Tools menu at all, in order to see that, you do need to either be on the leadership team, meaning the president, the vice president, the secretary treasurer, or you need to be assigned as the chapter webmaster. So if you'd like to be the chapter webmaster, All you need to do is to contact your regional office and they can make that assignment for you. All right, so once you get in here, you will see all of the the chapter level websites that you have access to. Now, more than likely, you'll only have access to your own chapter, so the list will look something like this with just one thing listed here. Of course, I can click on this link, and that will bring me out to the chapter website. Or I can click under Options. I can click this little Edit icon. If I click the Edit icon, that will bring me into the editing pages. Now, the first page that is showing us here is the structure of the website. So we have a number of different tabs along the top and then content within. So we can see the Pages tab, and this has the layout of the website. We have Home, which is the home page, Chapter Members, which is a page, and then the Member Details, Chapter Details, and Send Message subsections of that page. Then we have the Gallery page and the News page. At the bottom here, we have two links. We have a preview URL and a live URL. Now, what's the difference between those? When you're working on your chapter websites, what you're doing is you're actually working on a copy of the site. So the whole world is going to be looking at the live site. So in this case, that's this antarcticreferrals.com site. When you're working on it, though, you can check your progress and see how it looks on a real browser by going to this preview site or clicking this link. Now, right now, that's exactly the same. So both sites are the same. But once you start making changes, this preview site will show those changes, but the live site will not. When you're ready, you can copy your preview site and overwrite your existing live site. That's called publishing your website. So after you've made changes, you just click this Publish button down here. The screen will flash blue for a second, and then it'll tell you that the site was published successfully. When that happens, anything that you've done in the preview site will then overwrite the live site, and your changes will be active at that point. Now, before we get into the details of these pages, let's take a look at these other tabs. So there's two other tabs here, Library and Site Information. If I click on Library, what this is your image library. In order to display photos and other images on your chapter site, you first need to get them up into the BNI Connect servers so that we can host your images for you on the site. So you need to upload them from your computer to, again, the BNI Connect server. To do that, we can click on Library, and we're on the Images tab. Then I would click on the Upload button. From here, I click on the magnifying glass, and I can grab a couple of images. You can grab up to 3 images at a time by just holding down the Control button. And then I would click Open. These are ready to be uploaded, and I click Upload. And we'll then upload these into the BNI Connect servers, and they'll be ready to use. Now, you'll notice here I did put up a pretty large image. I believe there is a 10 megabyte limit, though you do want to be careful on putting large images up there, because that means that every time your page loads, if this image is up there, that person, even if that image is shrunk down, will need to download that 7 megabyte image. So I may want to choose a smaller image to have up there or make it smaller before I upload it. I'm going to go ahead and delete this one so that we're not using such a large image. Now you can do the same thing with documents as well as Flash objects. So if you need to host a document and link to a document on your site, or again with some Flash objects, you can upload those as well. I'm going to stick just with these images here today. Now the next tab is the Site Information tab. The Site Information tab is going to be some more back-end information about your website. The first thing that you'll see up here is the domain name and the chapter folder name. So the domain name, this is your regional website, the AntarcticReferrals.com in my case. What comes after it is your chapter page. Now, because these are auto-generated in BNI Connect, it's going to come up with an auto-generated name for that. It's going to take your region and then your chapter name and put dashes in between for all the spaces. So in this case, it's shiver-region-BNI-BR. That's kind of a mouthful. If I'm trying to tell somebody to go to our website, just go to antarcticreferrals.com/shiver-region-BR-, it's probably never going to get the point across. You can update your chapter folder name, meaning you can control what the subdomain is. So in this case, maybe I don't want it to be shiver-region-BNI-BR. I want it to be something just like BR. So I can tell people to go to just antarcticreferrals.com/BR. The rest of the information on this page, I do not recommend changing, although it does give you the ability to. You want to check with your regional office before making any changes to what the buttons say. However, if you'd like to, you can put, if you have a, for example, Google Analytics account, you can put your Google Analytics code or any other analytics software code into that box below. When you're all set, just go ahead and click the Update button. Now, notice in this case, I did make a change here. So I will have to republish my website in order for that change to become active. So because I made that change, I'm just going to go right ahead and click Publish. And now my links down here should work. And you'll notice that my site now says antarcticreferrals.com/BR. All right, let's take a look at a couple of these other pages. So here we have the home page, the chapter members, member details, gallery, and news. Now for most of these pages, you'll see that you have the option to edit the name. What this is doing is editing the button name. So for example, if I go back to this, to our live site here, we have the home, the chapter members, and the news. So I could, for example, change this from home to something else. Let's say I didn't want this to be home and I wanted this instead to say our glorious chapter. I could then click Submit. And if I go back to my preview URL, now this button says Our Glorious Chapter. And again, remember, the live site doesn't have this change yet. The live site is still just showing home as opposed to Our Glorious Chapter because I have not gone ahead and updated that yet. Other things that you can do is you can click on the Edit Meta Tags. And the meta tags are really the SEO stuff behind getting found. For some tips and tricks on that, you may want to talk to the SEO person or the website designer in your chapter. And then finally, you do have the edit content, but before I get into that, you'll notice that two of these pages, the gallery page and the news page, have a couple of extra options here on the right, the show and the hide ability. So if we go back out to our preview page, for example, you'll see that we have three tabs or three pages here. We have Our Glorious Chapter, which was the home page, chapter members, and news. Now, according to this, we could have up to four. We have Our Glorious Chapter, chapter members, gallery, and news. But currently the gallery tab is hidden. So if we want to, we can show that page. If I click Show and Submit, I'm going to go ahead and publish this. And now if I go to the site, you should see we have four tabs: Our Glorious Chapter, chapter members, gallery, and news. Now the gallery tab is blank right now. However, you'll notice that there's a new tab along the top here as well. The gallery tab is a special tab on the site, and it allows you to go in and really have that photo sharing gallery. So if I click on gallery, much like with the library, I can add albums and albums of pictures. Once I click submit, the album is created. And I can start adding photos to that album. Now, when you're working with the chapter gallery, you can only upload one photo at a time because you're going to give it some more details. And you have to give each one a title. So you can only do one at a time here. And then finally, the news page is a special page. It's actually a news feed from your regional office. It also allows chapter members through the inside of BNI Connect to do small updates on the website without having full update permissions to the chapter website. All right, let's go in and let's start looking at the content now. So I want to go in and update our first page, our glorious chapter page. To do that, we're going to click on the Edit Content button. One thing that you'll notice is as soon as I hit the Edit Content button, this is going to open the function in a whole new window. So if I go and click on this, a whole new window has popped up. So a lot of people say, well, I clicked the button and nothing happened. Make sure that your pop-up blocker is turned off. I have seen pop-up blockers block this window from opening up. Now, once we're in here, you will notice that there's only certain parts of the page that can be updated, and that's namely this center portion of the page. All the information on the left here, which is going to be your leadership team, where your chapter meets, what time you meet, things like that, that's all pulled automatically from BNI Connect. The same with the bottom portion of the page, which is all of the chapter speakers for the next month. That is pulled automatically from BNI Connect. And finally, there is a special set of symbols here, the pound, thank you for closed business, pound. That automatically pulls your total from the inside of your POMS reports for the last completed 12 months. So right now it's pulling through the end of April, and then on June 1st it'll pull for 1 year through the end of May. By the way, this is the only variable that's available at the moment. Now the rest of this is largely just word editing on the most basic levels. So if I wanted to go in and edit this page, I can do things that you'd normally find in any word editor. I can go in, I can type in here. I can do things like bold, italic, I can underline things. I can do strike throughs. I can do bulleted and numbered lists and things like that. I can even do things like change the font, although I highly recommend sticking with Arial because that is the BNI corporate font. But if I'd like to, I can change the size. I can change the color. And I can change the highlighting. Now, some things that will be unique to the website as opposed to in typical Word documents. First of all, if you want to, let's say, put a picture up there, or you want to replace a picture up there. Well, remember how we put stuff into the library before? To get stuff back out of the library and put it on your site, you're going to click on this icon right here. This is the image icon. So what you're going to want to do is to find the place that you want the image. So let's say you want it at the bottom of the page here. I'm going to go there, and then I'm going to click on the image icon. Now here, you'll see Browse Server, and this is where I'm going to go browse the BNI Connect server for my image. Now there is some stock photography and some stock imagery up there already, but it also has the two images that I uploaded, that blank billboard and the BNI visitor. I'm going to go ahead and grab this BNI visitor. Now it's looking like it's going to be pretty big, so I think I'm going to shrink it up a little bit. I'm going to make this maybe 200 pixels wide, and it'll keep the aspect ratio for us. And now I have a BNI visitor image on there. Now from here, the other thing that's really unique about these types of pages is that you can also put in links. So let's say that when somebody clicked here, they clicked on this image, I wanted it to bring them to the, I don't know, the www.bni.com homepage. I'm going to highlight this image, see how it's all blue. And then if you want to link something, you click on this link. It kind of looks like a chain. I'm just going to type in the website that I want them to go to, bni.com. If I want to, I can change some of the target information, like if it's a pop-up window or if it's going to just take over this window. And click OK. And now when somebody clicks on this image on the website, it will take them to bni.com. And it works the same with really any text. So if I wanted to, for example, let's say somebody clicked on this here, and I want that to bring them to the support site, I could click on link, have them go to support.bniconnect.com. And then whenever they click this, it will take them to support.bniconnect.com. Now there's a number of other tools on here as well. Such as all of these buttons along the top. Those are all form building. You will need to have some more advanced technical knowledge about HTML in order to make forms, such as collecting visitor information or things like that. However, most of this basic stuff you should be able to do on your own here. Now, those people that have a little bit more coding experience, please know that you do have access to the source code as well. So if I click this source button up here in the upper left-hand corner, you will actually see all of the source code. And if you're more familiar with HTML and editing that directly, you can do so. You would also need that for putting things like a Google map in of your chapter. Or, for example, if you wanted to embed a video. Now, a lot of people do ask me, how do you embed a video? Let me show you how to do that. The way to embed a video is that you do need to first host your video somewhere. I tend to host my videos up on youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. So let me go to YouTube. Oops, hold on, I can't type today apparently. And once you've uploaded your video, what you need to do is to go to that video. So let's say I want to take this educational moment on inviting a visitor, and I want to embed this on the chapter site. I would go to this share button, and then I'd click on the embed. And I could take this code here and put it into the code of my website. Now, what I like to do is I like to find the place I'm going to put it. So let's say I want it to be right above this BNI visitor thing. I like to put in something that I can recognize and find in the source code easily. So I'm going to go ahead and click source. Then I'm going to go find that XXXXXXX here. And I am going to replace this with the code that I copied from the YouTube site. And if I click back, this should now show me a placeholder for that video. Now that I've done making all these changes, now it's time to save this and go see what it looks like. So I'm going to click Save. This will give me a preview of the page. You can see my video then popped in. I'm going to close this. And again, if I click my live site, you'll notice it still has my original site up here. If I click on my preview site, it has all of the changes that I've made. To publish that and make everybody see it, I'm going to click Publish. And finally, our live site is absolutely gorgeous now with all the updated information. It has the embedded video. And if I click on the highlighted words here, it should bring me over to the support site. as well as if I click on the picture here, this should bring me to bni.com as well. And with that, it looks like we are at the bottom of the hour. So that is the chapter websites in a nutshell. What I'd like to do is to now open this up for any questions that you might have. While you're thinking of any questions and you're typing your questions in, I just want to thank everybody for being here with us today. It's greatly appreciated, and I hope you learned something new. I do welcome you to participate in all of our monthly webinars. We do a full series of BNI Connect webinars on a monthly basis. The place to find them is, please do go over to the support site, click on the question mark in the upper right-hand corner, or go to support.bniconnect.com. Our very next webinar is going to be, we're going to be covering the visitor process in BNI Connect. We're going to be doing that on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So again, visitors from invitation to follow-up, that's going to be on Wednesday, and we're going to be doing that at 3 p.m. Eastern. A good referral for me is to please take this link and forward it to your fellow chapter members to learn more about that process. Just a reminder, we are also up on youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. And I'd always love it if you give us a like. Facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. We do updates and reminders and all sorts of stuff up on our Facebook page as well. So do please give us a like up here as well. All right, do we have any questions? Any questions at all? I would love to answer those questions now. All right, well, if there's no additional questions, thank you guys so much for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you on a future webinar. Happy connecting, everyone.